Hey, everybody. Welcome to Be Our Guest, a new virtual happy hour interview series. I'm Janki. I am the artistic director of Live and in Color. We are a not-for-profit theater company based both in New York and Connecticut, and our mission is to develop new plays and musicals that promote and celebrate diversity. While in-person programming is on pause, we are very happy to be offering more virtual programming to our audiences. And to find out more, make sure to go to theaterincolor.org. And since this is a happy hour, I need a little cocktail. And today I have this little drink called Ruby Lee's Rhubarb Gin and Tonic, which was made for me from one of my favorite bars and hangouts, Dive 106. Dive 106 is located in Manhattan at 106th Street in Amsterdam, and it is a newly renovated bistro-style bar and restaurant, and the newest shining star in the New York City's dive bar constellation. The owner is a dear friend of mine and a Broadway actor, and Howard Kay, the infamous Howard Kay, who we've known each other since we Miss Saigon on Broadway, and he's created this beautiful bar that is a place for community to gather. In these times, it's really important that we support these small businesses. And so if you happen to be in the neighborhood, Dive 106 is now offering food and drinks to go. And if you stop by, you may even see Howard, and you may even see me there. So check it out. So before I bring on our special guest, if you have any questions, please type them into the comments below, and we'll get to some of them later. And please share this interview with your friends on your Facebook page right now so they can ask questions too. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome a super successful actress, director, choreographer, author, entrepreneur, the list goes on. She can be currently seen in The Good Fight and on TV, and she is a Tony nominee, the star of multiple Broadway shows, including Smokey Joe's Cafe, Chicago, Dreamgirls, and of course, where I first met her, Cats. Please welcome the fabulous Brenda Braxton.
Oh,
hello! What are you drinking?
I'm boring today. Just red wine.
That's not boring.
It is.
Classic.
I should have made it dark and stormy. I should.
Oh.
But I don't know how this would have gone with a dark.
Cheers. I'm so happy to see you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm 1 nanosecond at a time. That's my motto. Just you have to take it one day at a time, 1 nanosecond at a time, because who knows what's gonna happen.
And you're in New York, right?
I am. I'm in Harlem. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What have you been doing with your time these past couple of months?
Oh my God, I've been making stupid videos just to try and help people. I don't know if everyone saw my ABCCDD take on the wonderful I Love Lucy vitamin regimen.
Yes.
And just I have some things that I want to do after all of this is over. So now is the good time to do not the legwork, but to do my research and things like that. I want to, I want to do a couple of other things. Broadway is wonderful, but at a certain age, you really do have to start thinking about, okay, now what do I do? What more can I bring into my life? So, yeah.
Well, you usually have a million irons in the fire. You're just, I want to talk to you before we get to the Broadway stuff and your amazing career. I want to talk first about all the work you do to help others. And, you're extraordinary. You created the organization Leading Ladies, just for teens, to empower teenage girls by having them talk to professional women. And more recently, you've created Act 2 Now What, which offers seminars for women over 50 to inspire them. Can you talk a little bit about these two amazing organizations and why you started them?
Absolutely. So I started Leading Ladies Just for Teens when I was doing Smokey Joe's Cafe on Broadway. And they were seminars that I would do on Sunday morning. We would bring in at-risk young ladies between the ages of, I would say, 10 to 17. They would come and see the show, but before the show, they would sit in the lobby with me, and I would do my makeup as I talked to them and ask them, you know, in a perfect world, where would you be? What would you want to do? And it's surprising how these young girls, still have so many dreams that they really want. And if I could, I would kind of hook them up with maybe a kind of a little mentorship. I know one of the girls worked with our company manager because she wanted to have something to do with money and counting and all that kind of stuff. She wanted to get to know about money, and finances. So I set her up with our company manager, and she spent the day with Laura Green. Laura Green was our manager at the time, and just to see other women who were out there doing it. And after the show, they would meet the cast. And they would meet the women backstage who had a lot to do with running the show. We had a female lighting tech, electrician, different stage hands. And it would just be a good afternoon for them to get out of their element and just see that there is a world beyond their maybe 6-block radius of where they live. And then, oh my God, Act 2, now what? Act 2, now what came up because when I turned 50, I was like, what the hell? And then things started changing. You know, that birthday of 50 was one thing. And then my agent said to me, there was going to be a company of Chicago somewhere. And I had already done Broadway Chicago for a gazillion years. And I said, well, okay, if they need to see me, I'll go in, because when you're a certain age, you go, I'm going in for everything. So I asked my agent to submit me. And he said, they're going younger. And I was like,
oh no.
Younger. So I decided, okay, you know what? Women over 50 are really going through it, whether you're in theater or whatever, because again, your body is changing. Your hormones are raging in a whole different way, not a good way. And you just need other women who are going to be like, no, we got this. So I did a seminar. I did a sample kind of seminar. And I had a lot of women, I had maybe 30 women. And women, wow. Our oldest woman was 93. And she got up and danced with us and everything. So, you're never too old. As luck would have it, thank God, I ended up getting After Midnight on Norwegian Cruise Line. So I went out with Norwegian for 4 years?
It was that long?
Yeah, 4 years. And I was supposed to go back this fall.
Well, we know the story with the cruise ship.
I don't think that's going to happen this fall. Yeah. So I wasn't able to continue my seminars for women over 50, but I think I want to get back into that. And I have some other things coming up too that I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised. I had my barbershop.
Yes, of course.
Exceptional grooming for exceptional men. I don't think I want to do that again, because now with COVID and everything that's going on, it's just
tricky, right?
It's going to be tricky. But I do have an idea for something else that is really going to be fun. And it's called Act 2, Intermission is Over.
I can't wait to hear all about that.
We'll see what happens. I'm raising money now and getting investors, things like that. So we'll see.
That's amazing. I mean, I just love you because you're so much about passing it on and education, and you're like me, so old school about things. Like, we were taught a certain way and we want to pass it on. And in fact, you are also an author of The Little Black Book of Backstage Etiquette, which is, there you are, there it is. Which talk to me about that, because it's just fabulous.
So I was doing The Wiz down in Florida at Mulch Jupiter Theater. And I was playing Glenda and Aunt Em, and I was sharing the dressing room with a young actress. She was so sweet. And, there's a thing we do for our dressers. We give a little tip or something, at the end of the week or at the end of the month or whatever. And I said to her, so do you want to go in together for our tip, or do you want to do it by yourself? And I can do mine by myself too. And she had no idea what I was talking about. She was like, we're supposed to tip. I was like, Yes. And right then I realized, these kids are going to school for all of this theater and this and that and that. But there are little things that also get you through a Broadway show. Knowing how to deal with your dresser, how to be respectful to your dressers, to your stage managers, to your stage hands, how to be in the dressing room and be respectful to your fellow performers. With cell phones now, people are on their phones and, in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And for some of us, we need to bring it in and try and concentrate and, So the Little Black Book of Backstage Etiquette is a lot of little stories, and my story, and BB is in it, and Cheetah is in it, and Ken Hansen is in it, and some other friends. So it's a good book, and it's a labor of love. I'm not making a whole bunch of money, so y'all need to start.
You all need to read it, especially if you want to be in the theater. I mean, it's I teach also these young people, and I always say, it's so much more than just your talent. You have to, it's all about relationships and how you deal with other people. And
absolutely.
And that's really, I've gotten to work with you so many times, and you are so respected, and you're so fun and professional. And that's why people want to work with you.
And you just have to realize that we're, as they say, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And sometimes, not a lot of times, but sometimes you can get a job because you're easy to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They might go with you. You might not be quite what they're looking for at that time, or your talent might be a little different. But they know your history of being easy to work with,
Absolutely.
easy to mold, and to very respectful of the art and the craft. So you might get a job because of that. So all of this, the Little Black Book of Backstage, it kind of gives an idea.
Pick it up. So I want to go back to the beginning of your career. I know that you wanted to be a ballerina.
Me and Jesus together.
Yeah. You and Jesus taking ballet class together.
Yes.
So both of them. I also started out in the ballet, and just what was that journey as a young person, and how you transitioned into musical theater?
It's funny. I often tell this story of how I transitioned. I was in performing arts high school.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2 years, you just kind of do a general you get all kinds. You get Graham, you get ballet, you get everything. But then in your junior year, you have to decide, okay, I want to be in the ballet department, or I want to be in the modern department. And I wanted to be a ballerina. I wanted to be in the ballet department. But Miss Malinka told me I was not built to be a ballerina. So I switched over to the modern department. So then I wanted to be a Graham dancer. And at that time, I think they had one African-American Graham dancer, Martha Graham. And I wanted to be the next up and coming one. But then I was like, I went to my first Broadway show, which I think was Raisin on Broadway.
Oh, wow. I thought it was Guys and Dolls. Wow.
No, Guys and Dolls was my first Broadway show that I was in. But the first Broadway show I saw. Yes.
Oh, wow.
When I saw that, I was like, wow, what is that? Because I'm a little girl from the Bronx. I didn't know anything about all that. And I saw that, and I realized that, ooh, that's nice. What is that? But when I got out of high school, I joined a dance company, Fred Benjamin Dance Company, which, that training was amazing. That helped me come into my sexuality, my whole how I perform, and and then a year out of high school, I auditioned for Guys and Dolls, the African-American version, with Ken Page and Robert Guillaume and Ernestine Jackson. I love Ernestine Jackson. And the rest is history. After that, you just keep going. It's all about, okay, what's the next gig? What do I have to do next? I did the Wiz movie. Okay, that was something. I worked with Annette Carroll. We did a show called, it's funny, we did a show called When Hell Freezes Over, I'll Skate. And it was all of these poems, Langston Hughes and Dunbar, and all of it put to music and short stories and things like that. And it's amazing that so much of that is coming up now again in the poetry and in all of that, and what is infused in what we're going through today. So, but I digress. So after that, did a couple of other Broadway shows that didn't make it.
I was at your very first preview of the infamous Legs Diamond.
Ooh.
And I remember the sets crashing, but the one memorable thing was you coming out of that piano. It was breathtaking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the best number.
Yeah, that number was so much fun. It was hell to tech.
I bet.
It was so hard to tech. I did get a husband out of the show, but that's another show too.
We'll have you back for that.
We'll come back to that. But yeah, but that show, it was so much fun. And it was fun also because Peter Allen was so much fun.
Yeah.
He was completely wrong for the role, but he was just so much fun and just respected everyone. So,
of course. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, tying in the ballet thing and I mentioned earlier that our first show was Cats together.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of our time in the litter box together? Any quick stories you can share? That
were you on stage when we had, I don't know if it was a wrapper, a candy wrapper or something, and it was going around on stage, so the kiddies were just playing with it as we went through the show. Were you on?
I'm sure I was, because I was there pretty much your whole time you were there.
My whole time, right. But that was fun. That was
we used to get away with some naughty stuff.
But I do remember too. I remember the first day I went on with all of that stuff on at intermission. I went to Marlena Danielle and everyone in that, Bonnie Simmons, was it? I went to them just pouring sweat, and I said, I'm out of this bitch. As soon as I can. Out of here.
Really, to this day, I say it's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
I respect anyone who ever got to do Cats.
Can I say bitch on your show?
Sure.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. It was a very hard, I remember like my first couple of weeks, I got Achilles tendonitis from just being in releve so much. You know, you really had to take care of yourself. But I also had one of my most exciting moments when I went on for Grisabella. That was.
I remember that day.
Yeah.
It was thrilling.
It was thrilling. It really was. Because I don't think I had ever done a principal role. Mm-hmm. Out front like
really?
that. Yeah, that was to sing memory, to have to sing memory. Yeah. That was
well. I'm so honored that I was part of Broadway history. And speaking of Broadway history, you were in the original cast of Dreamgirls. You are in many other productions afterwards, and you've gone on to direct and choreograph it. You are part of that legacy, which is just amazing. In fact, I got to assist you on the 2001 Actors Fund benefit concert of Dreamgirls that starred Heather Headley, Lilius, and Audra McDonald. Having directed and choreographed it, having been in it, what is the comparison? What is your? I mean, I know that show has contributed so much to your career and life.
Well, it's interesting. You know, we talk about diversity and all of that. Mm-hmm. I don't think there has ever really been a Black director made for a major production of Dreamgirls yet, which is it's kind of crazy, right? Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Well, you were it.
Yeah, well, I was it, but also Wayman Thompson. Was Michael Bennett's like right-hand man when we did the international company. And yes, I could direct it as well because I was with it the whole 4 years, you know, afterwards, like you said, hours. So it's unfortunate that theater, their diversity, all of that still hasn't quite made it to some of these revivals that, you know, are Black shows, but none of the people of color get to do the directing.
Well, maybe you need to get on that bandwagon.
I don't know, I might be busy now.
Well, you know, speaking of Dreamgirls, there were a couple other people involved when you were teaching us. There was a young gentleman who was in the mix. I don't know who that might be. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert from Broadway's Flower Drum Song and Miss Saigon and director choreographer.
Did you see the video that Seth had of the
we're
three
getting
of
there.
us?
Well, so let me.
Oh,
Well, first of all, we're going to get there. I'm going to tell our viewers. So, hi, Robert.
Oh my God.
Where are you calling in from?
So much.
Hi, Miss. I'm here in Los Angeles, California.
Yes.
I've my act two now was like California.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes, I'm in California, but yes, I'm happy to join. I'm sorry I'm not Rita Wilson or Jennifer Lewis. This is what you got. As a special guest. But no, I just wanted to be here and and like Deb, just just talk to you about everything because you've been such an inspiration to me and to I got to work with you and assist you several times.
Oh my God.
Speaking of, I think one of Robert's and my favorite experiences was that Dreamgirls, where we got to learn that original Michael Bennett choreography from you for the very first time. And in fact, we have a little video to show that is the three of us demonstrating the choreography for the first time to our three leading ladies.
Oh God. Wow.
That's right. This is the best part. Look. Isn't that great? Look.
Oh.
It's so crazy, right? We were so young.
And thin.
And Robert was a little too good. I think he was ready to go on as your understudy. I'm sure you had your heels and boa ready.
Brenda's always telling me, be prepared. Be prepared.
Be prepared. Oh, look. There you are in your boa.
Learn from the best. Learn from the best.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Learn from the best.
Well,
this is amazing. This is so amazing. And just looking at this screen right now, again, you talk about diversity and you talk about inclusion and you talk about we're all in this together. Look at this screen. You know what I mean? So,
well, Brenda, I have to say, Robert and I talk about this all the time. One of our fondest memories was before we ever worked with you on Dreamgirls, everyone loves and everyone wants to be in, whatever color you are. And I remember there was
you want to be.
Yes. And there was an open call for a tour or a production we were doing, and Robert and I were like, "Should we go?" And we showed up, and it was all our African American dancer friends, and we were like, "Should we be here? Should we not?" And they were all like, "You should be here." Yeah. It was so welcoming, and it was such a, I don't know, it was a great feeling.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
And since Live and in Color's whole mission is diversity and creating spaces where you feel like you're surrounded by all sorts of people. I just want to put it to you both, like, how important is that to you when you're working?
It's extremely important.
Yeah,
extremely important. And it's funny because Seth asked me on his show, when you were coming up, did you find diversity and all of that? And I have to honestly say that wasn't part of my journey, my personal journey. My personal journey was, I have got to keep working. I have got to keep showing what I can do. I have got to grow from this. I have got to get from this level to the next level, to the next level, to the next level. And if I can, if I can pull somebody with me, or if I can make a difference, or speak out, then fine. But it wasn't so much of, I've got to prove that, it needs to be diverse and it needs to be, that wasn't my journey. And I look at the kids nowadays and I'm like, yeah, you guys have it just a little teeny tiny harder because you are aware now of it so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't that really aware of it when I was coming up. I just wanted to work. I just wanted to prove who I was.
What about you, Robert?
We're just a little after you, but I think because since we were right after you, you taught us. Like I was like, if there is a spot, go for it. Like I didn't use it to hold me back. I used it to, well, I gotta just try it. I have to try. I have to try and break down this door. It's interesting as I progressed through the business, and after I got hired as a dancer, then became an assistant, then became a choreographer, then did I realize how hard the system is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want these kids to still work their asses off.
Right.
But also know that it's a bigger picture thing, and don't get frustrated. Like I know it is frustrating because we've all been it, not to get the job and to see where the jobs went and to feel the opportunity taken away.
Yes.
I am still hopeful. I'm still hopeful that it's like, you know what, let's do it. Let's change it. There's enough of us now. There's an awareness now. We know we have the goods. We know there is the talent and the numbers of people to fill the slots.
Absolutely.
So you know what? Let's just break it down and just show up.
And start doing more writing and choreography.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, that's why Brenda is like, under your, our friendship, it's like you never stopped creating things. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just about your next show. You were writing. You're like, this is a great idea for a movie, which one day we have to talk about because we got to still make.
We're still obsessed with that idea.
We'll talk about it later offline. You start. I watched you start a business. I saw you fold a business. I saw you revive a career. We talked about oh, am I going to go on? Like you have always had other things going, so it wasn't just my performing career. You have, and you think that way too. Yeah, you made me think there are these parallel things that you have to keep working for, even though the big picture is show business and expression and creativity. Mm-hmm. That's the inspiration you've been to me.
Well, you are an inspiration to so many people, and I'm sure we have some audience members that are dying to ask some questions. So let's take some of them. Alyssa says, "What was your craziest audition experience?" Thank you so much.
Oh my God, my craziest audition experience. Oh my God. I don't know how this happened, but I was called to go in for Will Rogers Follies. I know, you see your face?
Well, they should have. They should.
How tall are you?
Yeah.
5'4". And so we get on the stage and I'm standing there and Tommy Toon says to me, "Brenda, are you sure this is what?" And I said, "You know what? You're right."
And you walked out?
I just left.
Bag.
That's amazing.
I just left because it was so obvious. I'm standing in the middle of all these tall white girls. And it's like, oh, come on. I look good, but damn, I can't do that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's a great one.
I had forgotten about that too.
Great Tommy Toon. Let's take one more question. Is there do we have another question? Oh, yes. Yeah. Dylan says, "Hello, Brenda. What was your favorite Broadway show experience? Also, my wife wants to know your beauty secrets. You're gorgeous."
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
That's my beauty secret. No, I'm lying. Okay. Let me see. What was the question?
What was your favorite Broadway show?
Of course, Smokey Joe's Cafe.
Oh, yes.
Joe's Cafe was the most fun. Chicago was the most challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Smokey Joe's was the most fun because I got to create the role too. Very seldom do you get to create your own role, and the role's name is Brenda. So there you go. I was a little upset that the revival didn't use our names. When do you change the name of a character? I don't.
Right. I mean, it must be. Isn't it published with your name? It must be, right?
Yeah.
Like when you like
everything has the scripts, everything. So I wasn't sure why that was, but that's a whole nother story. But Chicago, I love. Chicago I love because, again, playing Velma Kelly, that's diverse, African-American woman. They had done it before, but it was a wonderful experience in the sense of I was following like amazing people who had already done it. One, BB Newworth, who has become like a wonderful friend of mine. But going into that show, because she had done it, I was like, oh my God, I'll never be able to do that. I'll never be able to. And Walter Bobby came to me and said, Brenda, we hired you to be you. And as soon as he said that, it clicked for me that I was there to do Velma the way I do Velma, or I would do Velma.
And you sure did. I think I saw you 5 times do it. And
I love
that.
That.
Oh my God. I think let's do one last question before we have to finish. Let's see who else has something to say. Do we have one more?
Oh, the beauty regimen. See, I tell this, but people, they get, okay, so it's Vaseline. I use Vaseline.
Ye olde.
Yes, Vaseline, and a good base, because I've got a nice base on right now. And sometimes all you need is base, and I have base, a little blush, a little lipstick. I do have a lash. I had to go through, should I do a day lash or evening lash? Because some of these it's like, and it's still daytime. You can't do that, but yeah. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I think we're out of time. Oh my God, we could talk for like 3 hours, isn't it? It goes so fast, right? But before we go, I just want to say to our viewers, I'm so proud of the work that we do at Live and in Color. We foster an inclusive environment and create platforms that showcase underrepresented voices. I really believe that the stories we tell change hearts and minds. Also, we have some exciting news because Live and in Color has been just given a matching grant from the For Good Foundation, and any donations that are made before the end of June will be matched up to $10,000. So and consider donating in support of our company and our artists at theaterincolor.org. And also next week, be sure to tune in again to be our guest when I will be talking to Nina Davaluri. Nina is the host and producer of the reality show Made in America, and she is the first contestant of Indian descent to win Miss America. She's wonderful, and she has a lot to say, so I'm excited to have her. And finally, thank you, my dear friends, Brenda and Robert, for being with me. I love you both. Do you want to give us a little exit toast, Brenda, before we go?
Yes. I just want to say, with everything that's going on, all is in divine order. And as long as we treat each other the way we want to be treated and keep the humor in our lives, I know it's very hard right now, but try to keep the humor in your life and stay close to friends. Because I have not seen these two gentlemen in a while, especially Robert. And it's like yesterday. Friends are important. So, and if you can find me a quarantine boo, just, you see that?
Me too. Thank you both. Love you. Cheers. Thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Absolutely.
The mornings run together. Seems like one long day. You're going through the motions. What does it matter? Does it matter anyway? Wishing things were different when the world is cold and gray. It's the same old song that's playing with the same old things to say. Someone should mix things up. Someone should take a chance. Someone should sing a new number. Someone should dance a new dance and change the story. Come on and change the scene. Choose the beginning, the ending in between. It's time to change the story. It's time to change the tune. See how the future looks bright. Change on the horizon. Coming soon. And suddenly and dignity. 'Cause when we come together, that's when we're truly free. Come on and mix things up. Come on and take a chance. Come on and sing a new number. Come on and dance. Let's change.